and welcome to That's Girl Speaks. Today is Tuesday, it's Wednesday. It's June 14th, this is episode 198. How are you? Okay, so confession. Oh wait, I should introduce myself. Hi, I'm Amy Beth, also known as the Fat Squirrel on Ravelry and the Fat SQRRL on Instagram. Confession! This is now the fourth time I've tried to record this part of the episode. Okay, the episode period. So I'm actually going to just assume I've changed cameras now. I was recording a response to Crafty Vegan, your question about monetizing the YouTube channel. I'm just going to answer it next time. Because apparently the camera that I was using doesn't want me to answer that question. Because it just decided to like blow up. And this camera only has 45 minutes on the SD card, so we just gotta get going. You may hear some ladder sounds in the background. My life's crazy. I waited to record this podcast until Wednesday at 6:15 in the evening because it was the only time both my husband and daughter would not be in the house. I just gotta get over it. I gotta figure out a way to record this podcast while they're both in here and just like deal with it. So that is something I am working on. That is a personal thing that I'm working on. But resultantly, like, as soon as they left and I got everything set up, the neighbor started working on his house. And, like, I'm literally 7 feet from him, I think. There's a pane of glass and a storm window between us. So you may hear his ladder. He's been watching me talk to nothing now for about 25 minutes. No, it's been longer than that. Eek! Ah! Oh no, I left my notes over there. Oh, this is a close-up of my face. So we're with the old camera again, so there won't be as sharp a focus. I'll work on it for next time. What's going on? So next time, Crafty Vegan, I will answer your question about monetizing the YouTube channel. Thanks for asking. Okay. This week's episode will contain shenanigans. It'll contain sewing and knitting and spinning and jam. Not toe jam. Well, it does have probably toe jam. No, it doesn't. It probably does. It'll contain ladder sounds and dog clicking sounds. I think that's all. Oh, and shameless self-promotion. Okay. I gotta get zenned out here for a second. I mean, I'm not going to because I never exist in a state of zen, but I need to like bring it together. Sometimes it just feels like the universe is like, nope. Universe, settle. I gotta do this. Settle, universe. Okay. Also, New Hampshire Knits sent us oh, actually, the Woolly Thistle sent us, she's New Hampshire Knits, it's confusing. She sent us my ironing board table is a little bit packed full of stuff today. I did not put it on there in sequential order, which is a mistake. So I apologize. So she sent me a tote bag with my last order, and she said she want two. So maybe I'll do a prize drawing at the end of when I do like the prize drawing for the people who've donated to the podcast. Maybe I'll do one then. So yeah, it'll be next week. I'll announce that. But yay! I don't usually accept gifts to do prizes because it makes my life feel crazy. But come on. She's super cute. What are you gonna do? So yay that! Me and you, kids. Me and you. Oh, even though I'm going to skip the administrati stuff in terms of from the boards until next time, I did want to mention I acknowledge that there may have been some problems with last week's episode or last time's episode with the iTunes feed. I would love to say that I'm working to resolve that issue, but literally I have like zero control over it. I apologize deeply that I would really love to be able to be on top of it. Because I do love to be in control of some stuff, whether it's productive or not. but I am not. So I have to just, when I put the podcast up to the people who take it for iTunes, like, I just have to kind of, it's like, it's like those ramen restaurants for introverts. Have you seen those? You're like, oh, that is so specific. No, I haven't seen that. Okay, I don't know how I saw it, but there's this whole like introverted like restaurant for introverts where they just like, there's a menu. You go into like basically this little cubby, and there's like a hole in the cubby, and there's a menu, and you like somehow give the order. I don't know if you write it. I don't know what happens. And then like the little door opens and they just put your ramen or whatever it is through there. And that, I feel like I'm the ramen deliverer with the podcast to iTunes. Like, I'm just like, be nice. And it sometimes isn't. So I would love to say that I will do better, but really okay, I will. This is me doing better. I apologize. But it will be on YouTube, so yay, YouTube. Thanks, kids. So there are so many shenanigans. It's like insane this time around. I really should have recorded another episode. I should have recorded like 75 episodes. No, I wouldn't do that to you. That's crazy. But do you remember last time I was all like, I think we're going to go pick strawberries. Oh, we did. Let me just discuss. It was crazy. We went up to, is that Fishers? Yeah, I think that's considered Fishers, which is like a northern suburb of Indianapolis, and it's very weird. Let me just discuss driving. We live on the south side of Indianapolis. If you've ever watched that Two Chicks and a Hammer, or now it's called Good Bones or whatever on TLC, where they revitalize, remodel, rework, they re-something houses in Indianapolis, and they show that Bates Hendricks neighborhood. I'm like right on the, I'm not technically in Bates Hendricks because I live literally on the wrong side of the tracks. Of course I do. But that's where I live. I'm like right on the south edge of town, downtown. I'm inside the belt, right in, you know. So this is on the way like above the belt. Fancy land. So anyway, so we're driving on this road, and it is so packed with give us your money stores. It feels insane. I'm so glad that we live in the older part of town that it's a little sketchy. But like there might be a dude who's like, give me your money. There isn't. But I don't see how that's that much different than driving along a corridor of buildings that have been constructed just to scream at you, give us your money. I hate driving up there. It's just like, you feel like you're just a cow in a chute. It's exactly like that. They're just gonna like shave away at you as you walk through the chute. They're just gonna, and I'm just like, we're driving there, I'm just like, I don't like this area of town. Now, most people would be like, that area of town is so much nicer than you live. You do you. It just feels crazy. But anyway, but the good thing is at the end of that chute and off to the side a little bit, there's a giant strawberry farm. Okay, it's not giant, but there's a pretty big strawberry farm that has U-Pick. Our Waterman's farm, which is pretty close to us, also has U-Pick, but not very consistently, quite frankly. This being in fancy rich people land is very nice. Thanks, Richies. I don't like your shoot of consumerism, but I do love your fancy strawberry farm. So we went and did U-Pick, and by the way, it was fancy. It was not cheap. But it was like it was an amusement park. It was like a Disney strawberry picking experience. Okay, that's probably an overestimation. But like I recall going strawberry picking as a child and it being the most miserable experience. I was not really an outdoorsy kid. Isn't that weird? Because now I really like to be outside. But anyway, whatever. I just remember being so hot. And like my great-grandfather was an old man at that time. And I remember him like sitting on the ground like on a bag and like scooting and picking strawberries. And I just remember it being like a land of plenty. I feel like there was a land of plenty bugs. and a land of plenty dirt, but I don't remember the land of strawberry plenty that was probably there that I just don't remember. But this, it's like Orlando strawberries. Not Orlando, but you know what I mean. Magic Kingdom strawberries. It was so cool. So, I'm probably going to talk about this for way too long. Whatever. This will be like 2 minutes of knitting again. Whatever. I did knit. So you go to the farm and there's like a billion like very fresh-faced young people there ready to assist you. They're so young and cute. And you like go up to the little like tenty thing, you drive, and there's like a little tent where they have your flats that you can pick from, and they have the scales and stuff, and then there's a little dude who takes you to your row. It's an assigned row. Genius, right? Because I was actually kind of worried, like, how is this gonna work? How are we not gonna be like, they take you to your assigned row, and your row, by the way, covered in straw, so you're not sitting in mud. Fancy. And then you pick, so here's your row, and here's strawberry plants on either side of you. He gives you the talk. You want to start in the middle of that plant. So there's plants here and plants here. He said, you're going to start in the middle and pick towards yourself. Start in the middle, pick towards yourself. And he's like, here's this little white flag. You have a little white flag that when you're done picking, you just move the white flag to the end of your row. So that way they know where to put the next people. So simple but genius. So exciting. It was awesome. And the flats said 10 pounds on them. So I thought in my head before we went that I was like, okay. It's like we want to probably stay at like the 15-pound mark. So I thought, okay, that one's not too full. That one's kind of, that's probably 24 pounds of strawberries, people. I'm pretty sure it's 24 pounds. It's been 2 weeks ago now. I can't remember. We are 3 people, one of which does not eat strawberries. Now, I got it because I was going to make jam. I didn't know exactly how much jam I was going to be making. That said, we totally did it. Okay, I totally did it. The last batch of jam, I did make a call out to the people to come help me hold the strawberries because I was starting to feel it. I think I put on Instagram that I canned 34 pints, but this is a half pint, right? Because it's only, oh, it's a Laura Ingalls Wilder. But I canned 34 of these dudes in an afternoon, which again, if you're like an old school canner, you're like, whatever. That probably means a cursey thing. That's not what I mean. You're like, whatever. 34 pints, 34 half pints, whatever the heck that is. Whatever. For me, that was intense. It was crazy, but it was super fun. And I enjoyed it very much. I used the Sure gel that you can buy that uses less sugar or no sugar. Because I'm not anti-sugar. I enjoy sugar. But I feel like what it is what I'm realizing is my anti-ness to sugary jam is that I can't taste the fruit. I think it's really what it is. Like I'm always like, this is too sweet. But I think more than that is I'm like just only tasting the sweet. Because I like honey on toast. And obviously honey is actually quite saturated with sweetness. But it tastes like honey. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like a lot of the jams I buy commercially just taste like sugar. I don't taste the fruit part of it, which is what inspired me to can all this crazy amount of strawberry jam. By the way, also last year I made nectarine jam, which was, quite frankly, amazing. I'm not even going to pretend it wasn't. It was awesome. And I hoarded my like 8 little jars of it. And did that like, oh, there's only 1 left. Oh. But anyway, so I used the low sugar recipe, which is like, you can buy on Amazon or at your grocery store, you can buy the jar. Like, don't buy those little packets unless you're just canning a few at a time. But if you're going to try to can 20 pounds of strawberries at once, I recommend the bulk option, which is like this jar. And basically what it is essentially 7 cups of crushed strawberries. So all you have to do is just wash them. And these are local strawberries, so they're not They don't have to be hard enough to ship to you from like across the world or the country. So they're really soft. So really all you have to do is take a teaspoon and just pop out the green part. There's really not even like a hole on like you would get on most of your like Driscoll strawberries or whatever. Like you just pop out that tiny little green part and then you put it in a bowl, you mash it with a potato masher. You take 7 cups of those, you'll throw them in a pan with 6 tablespoons of the Sure-Gel stuff, low sugar Sure-Gel, and then you bring that to a boil that you can't stir down, so it's like boiling, 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 and you're stirring it, it's like, no! And you're like, okay. And so then you dump in 2 cups of sugars for 2 cups of sugars for 7 cups of strawberries, which when you look at most recipes for jam, that's a really low amount, but it's still really sweet. I might even try next time to do no sugar. And then you gotta boil it again, and you gotta be careful not to overboil it, because I didn't know this. But the pectin is really sensitive to heat. Really? So by the time you boil it the first time, then boil it when you add the sugar, then can it, like it can get, you have to be really careful about not boiling it too much. You know what I mean? So like look at a recipe, okay? And then you can it for, was it 10 minutes or 5 minutes? I can't remember. But the canning, you know, the recipe on the jar will tell you how long you can it for. But I made some strawberry jam. It's so exciting! Yay! And I know a lot of people love freezer jam. My mom is a huge fan of freezer jam. Our freezer space is always kind of at a premium. And quite frankly, right now I need to defrost our freezer, our chest freezer. We just have a little, like a, was like 3 cubic feet or something. It's not a big one. But I need, that's probably more than 3 cubic feet though. That would be like nothing. Whatever. It's just this kind. It's not this kind. But I needed to defrost it, so I was kind of like, oh, about the freezer jam. But anyway, so we made jam, and mostly we picked 24 pounds of strawberries in like 30 minutes. That's how many strawberries there were. It was bonkers. It was super crazy, yo. Premium Disney level strawberry picking, and that's why they were $2.20 a pound, which I know you could buy strawberries at the grocery store for less than that a pound. I totally get it, and you don't actually have to pick it, but A, you get to support a family farmer, and the dude was totally there. The guy dude was, the farmer dude was like running around like a crazy person, which was kind of fun. And then also it's like a family bonding experience. Ding. And it's really fun. And also, again, the fact that the berries you get are probably better for jam because they're already softer. So yeah, like you just mash them with the potato masher, like just I mean, it was like no work at all. And then boil them. I feel like if you were doing to do like the Driscoll strawberries, it would be like, mash the I don't know though. I've never made them with that. Okay, strawberry jam. What else are we gonna talk about? Okay. Oh, I also went to Hoosier. Gosh, there's too much to talk about this week. I also went to Hoosier Hills, which is a which is a fiber festival that's held in the county south of me, in Johnson County, Indiana. And I actually totally forgotten about it, but then Joanna Spring, who is Knit Spin Farm, oh my gosh, Knit Spin Farm is having a unicorn bat club, people. Somebody go buy all the subscriptions so I can stop being tempted. Please, really, go do it. It's super cute. Anyway, so she sent a message that said somebody had given her yarn, free yarn to give to a couple folks that from Indiana, and she was like, come get the free yarn. And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that was this weekend, but now I'll be there. Oh, and by the way, I'll also take a class. What? It was totally an impulse thing. But if you're newer to the show and you don't know this about me, I kind of have a thing about Appalachian stuff. Like, I'm kind of a sucker for it. My people are from the hills and whatnots. So there was Appalachian broom making. Shut up. And I really was like, no, I do not need to take that class. Because, you know, it's like $40, $45, I think. So it's not cheap. But, I mean, for a class, that's not a bad price. I'm not saying that at all. But it's not free, is what I'm trying to say. So, but then I looked up the bio of the person who was instructing the class, and he had taught at the John C. Campbell Folk School, which has been a serious dream of mine to go there since I was in college, since I was like 20 years old. Gosh, those catalogs. If you don't know about the John C. Campbell Folk School and you're into crafty stuff because you're watching this show, hi, you should go check it out. Unless you don't want it, and then don't. I totally get not wanting to want more things. I totally get it. So don't go look at it. But if you're like, yeah, I'm totally ready to want some more stuff, then go look at it. They do week-long, they do weekend classes too, but they do week-long classes. It's all communal living. So like you can get private rooms, but you can also live in like a bunkhouse essentially for the week. You can do camping options, and then you take all-day classes. It's all communal dining. It's just like super groovy and awesome. Anyway. So I took this broom making class. And so my whole thought process was like, why am I taking this broom making class? Like, I don't have a hearth to sweep. It's called an Appalachian hearth broom. Broom. I don't have a hearth to sweep. I don't have a pot to piss in. But I was like, and we're not even camping very much anymore because I was like, oh, this would be an awesome tent broom, right? Could totally use that as an excuse, right? You can just see it hanging up in my tent, right? Super cutie style. We're not even doing that anymore. So like, I cannot justify taking this class. But then something happened, and again, it was the John C. Campbell Folk School, and I'm so glad I took it because do I need a hearth broom? Not at all. But was it totally fun to take this class? Indeed it was. Indeed it was. I was good. I did not buy the broom making tool so that I can make future brooms. Because quite frankly, it was fun to make, but like I have no thing in my head that I know that I need to make more brooms. But it was so enjoyable. So yay! So I was really glad that I took it, even though it was not practical. I think sometimes I get really hooked into like, is this practical? Is this useful? And those are bad things at all, but sometimes I think it's limiting quite a bit. And it was not too many funds to dedicate to just doing something interesting for myself. Okay, speaking of doing interesting things for myself that require funds, segue into sewing. That's what this was too for me. Now, some of you might know that I sew for a living. That's very different sewing. It's all straight lines. It's all the same. It doesn't have to fit on my three-dimensional person. So I've been trying to sew some garments. Let me also say that I come from sewists. Like I come from my grandmother's was a professional seamstress for like Elder Bierman. She did their alterations department. She's made wedding gowns, like not one. She's made lots of wedding gowns. Like my mom made lots of clothes. She's a quilter, but she's also done clothes and stuff. But I feel like part of that legacy is also me remembering being, you know, like my daughter's age, like 10, and having to pin down all those stinking tissue paper patterns. Because this was before rotary cutters, yo. I mean, maybe there were rotary cutters by like the time I was a young teenager, but they were wicked expensive. Like, wicked. For us, anyway. We were kind of poor. But the pinking shears, ugh, pinking shears. They were so hard to squeeze. And I was not my like now toughness self where I like did stuff just to be tough. I was all like, ah, so I'm just using scissors to pin everything, and the pins never wanted to go all the way through, and they would bend. And the tissue paper was so tissuey. You make the notches, and like all old school Singer patterns and Butterick patterns, like 9,000 pieces, because they're fancy. So I was just like, I had that in my head, and I was just like, that is the Rubicon that I do not want to cross. I know it's not an appropriate use of that term, but whatever. It was just on a television show the other night. Anyway, just, I think it had built, so like there was that buildup of a block in my head about sewing garments, but there was the further buildup of a block that I am a fat lady with lumpy bumps. All right, where's my lumpy bump, bitches? Ooh, sorry. Where's my lumpy bumpers? Lumpy bumpers! Like, it's hard enough to find clothes in a store that fit me, but to like make something that's gonna fit me when I don't even understand like where to begin with that is very intimidating. But that said, everybody on the Instagram is doing the sewing, and so I got sucked in, and I'm glad I did. Just gonna say it. I'm just glad I got sucked in. So I totally drank the Kool-Aid. It was peer pressure 100%. I mean, not peer pressure, but peer joinery. Glad I did. I've had this pattern for a while now. It's from 100 Acts of Sewing, and it's the dress number 1 pattern. It is sizes extra small through 4X. So, you know how it's all like, oh my gosh, and the butter pad is like always like 14 pieces. Dude. That's your pattern. What? There's a pocket too if you want the pocket. 1 piece. And it's not on tissue paper. Yay. So I just use these giant metal washers. You can buy, throw them around. You can buy pattern weights too, but they kind of get expensive if you need very many of them. These are like, you can get the Tractor Supply. I had these for a while, so I don't know how much they were, but they were not expensive. And they're so cold. I'm so flushed. There was troubles with recording, people. Just need a moment. Oh, this feels really good. Anyway, so like you can just cut this out. You just put these on there, and then you can use your rotary cutter to cut it out. The process took like 15 minutes at the most. Oh, so exciting. So then I'm also intimidated by that whole like make a wearable muslin. But I had this fabric that I had purchased for an apron, and I purchased it like over a year ago, so clearly I needed to let that go. By the way though, I now feel more inspired to make an apron, because I'm like, dude, I'll just use a pattern from one I already have. Like, stop trying to make fancy stuff. Just make like simple, practical stuff, yo. Not that there's anything wrong with fancy, but it's like when the thought of trying to do the fancy thing becomes like inhibiting, then why? There's no point in doing that. So I was going to wear my dress and I thought, oh, you might want to see it. So I'll put in a picture of me. Oh, here it is. I'll do this first. I'll probably forget to put the picture in. Did I do that? I did that last time too, didn't I? So here's mine. So I did make the biggest size possible. And this is just quilter's cotton. So, okay, now I'll put a picture of me in it. Did I remember to do it? There's no facings. So you just use a bias tape facing. Now, I will say this. These instructions are not super explicit. I think there's probably a reason for that. It's probably because it might be overwhelming to look at if they were super explicit. But hello, YouTubes. You can totally look up how to apply a bias tape. And I think she even has a tutorial, or she even has something on her website. I think that, what is your cute face's name? Mrs. Shu. She totally had, she said that she also had trouble with the bias tape and like figuring out how to do it. And that the 100 Acts of Sewing has a tutorial essentially. And again, you can find lots of information on that online and how to do that. And other things too. So in my head, I was going to do French seams, but I ended up using the serger because for some reason when I cut it out, I had this like total fear that it was going to be too small. I held it up to myself and I was just like, oh, it's not too small. I could have done the French seams. It would have been fine. I am a 54-inch bust, almost 60-inch hip. And the 4X had plenty of room in the hip for me. Not like crazy room, but like plenty of room. And the bust actually was too big at the underarm, not like at the fullest part of my bust. But what I did was, and this is like just not like sanctioned, but but it was baggy like right here. So I think, and it's a little bit wide on my shoulder. So I think next time what I will do is make like maybe 2 sizes narrower in the shoulder and just make this part of a little like 1 size smaller. So I'll just like kind of, just like when you're knitting and you connect the upper bust size and then like make a bigger bust size, I'm going to franken that pattern up, I think, and make the shoulders either 2 or 3 sizes smaller and then just draw the line to this 3X for the underarm width. But that said, the only accommodation I made was, also I said I was going to use the French seams. I decided to use my serger at the last minute because I got afraid that it was going to be too small. The seam allowance would be too big. So I just took 1 inch in, so it's basically 2 inches off of the underarm. And then I just graded, like just did a diagonal. This is 6 inches deep. I just arbitrarily made that up because my ruler happened to be a 6-inch square, quite frankly. So I just like graduated it down, and I did that on both sides, and now it fits, and it lays nicer now, much more nicely. So it was a really rewarding experience. Like, it was an afternoon of this basic sewing, and I got a thing that's done, and it's wearable. So I'm actually pretty excited about it. I made mine tunic length, which you can probably see, because I only had 2 yards. And also the main reason I made it tunic length is because it's raining. They're going to be home in like 2 seconds. This may get split up into recording. Anyway, the main reason I did it too is because what I'm looking for is for shirts to wear with my like capri length yoga pants, which are my uniform. But like I love t-shirts. But like they're just starting to look real garbagey. Like it seems like the quality is decreasing. Hate to say it. Okay. And so I was looking for an alternative to my t-shirts. So is this the most flattering piece of garmentry in my life? No, it's not. I'm kind of at a place where Stacy and Clinton, do you remember that show? Stacy and Clinton in What Not to Wear? Their voices are slowly leaving my head. They are lovely. I have nothing against them. But I am kind of glad that their voices are quieting. Because like being hooked on something looking flattering is really kind of secretly oppressive. I'm just gonna say it. It really is. Not like I'm fooling anybody. If something I wear is flattering, it means it makes me look 2% smaller. I'm still so fat, yo. There's no flatteringness that's going to make me not look fat. So I'm just going to embrace toddler grandma style. Just going to do it. Just going to charge out into the world. Toddler grandma style. Speaking of which. So then the next weekend, so I made those the weekend of the strawberry picking. And then the next weekend, I made some leggings. What? I totally did. I just went crazy. So this is a free pattern from Patterns for Pirates. That's the company's name. They have a free pattern called Peg Leg Leggings, or just Peg Legs maybe. And it's free. You just download the PDF, you print out the pattern, and then you just tape it together and you cut it out. And it's one piece, yo. Well, there's also a waistband fanciness that I did. They also offer a free add-on that has other options like making a little pocket for your, it's like a little pocket, yo, like for your key. Not a big pocket. Sorry, something was distracting sounding. And like stripes for your pants. They do that too. But one of the things is a contoured waistband. So I don't know if you'll be able to tell because this is white. But this is the back. See that the waistband is like this tall? Okay. This is the waistband in the back. It's like 1 finger deep. I'll show it to you on the wrong side. The waistband in the front is that many fingers deep. It's like 2 fingers deep. So it comes up in the front, but still stays on the back. So this is available up to 3X. I don't know what the smaller size is because I wasn't looking at it, quite frankly. And the 3X totally fits. Again, I had the moment where I was like, that's not going to fit me. That's too small. Oh, okay, when I first looked at the pattern leg, I was like, that's huge. That is enormous. But then I knew in my heart that it was going to be like when my giant underwear are laying out. And I'm like, those panties are too big. Oh, those barely fit. And it was totally like that. So I have a big butt and really big pins. Like really big, thick legs, big, thick calves. Like can't wear a boot. Don't tell me about your extra, extra wide calf. I need like a 4X wide calf. Like I got big pins. They gotta hold the rest of me up. It's okay. And they totally fit. I mean, legging style, they stretch. And this is very stretchy fabric. That should be a boomerang thing. But they totally fit on my body, yo. I'm so excited. I don't know what this fabric is because it was in stash, but I do know that it was a 95% cotton, 5% spandex. So I'm just going to see how it goes. I'm going to wear them. See if they pill, because that's my big thing, is pilling. I'm really anti-pilling. Oh, these I did sew on the serger, which you could probably see when I showed you my waistband. I just use light gray because, I'm not changing that serger thread every time. They're inside my pants. If you're inside my pants, you get what you came for. I feel like that should really be the show title, but anyway. But I've lost my pen and my mind. So I accidentally cut into this, to the waistband piece, because the waistband is 4 pieces. It's a front, back, front. Like there's a front and a back, and then there's an outside and a lining. So I was totally trying to get my serger to work, and I used my waistband lining as the sewing, as my practice. Don't do that. Anyway, so I just happened to have this crazy orange polka dot, but I'm actually really glad I did because it's fun now. Super fun. And these are not to be worn in public. I mean, under a dress, yes, that's what the point was to have some more fun, colorful leggings to wear under like dresses or tunics or whatever. But yeah. So 2 successful sewing adventures. What? It's madness, I tell you. Madness. Okay, should we talk about knitting and spinning now? Crazy, I know. Okay, so I finished some spinning. Even crazier, right? Okay, I can't try to do this while we're doing this. I was working on some Hello Yarn Rambouillet in the Dragging Heels colorway. And I know this isn't going to focus laser fast like the other camera does, but I'm just going to pretend. And it's like this very kind of beachy, it's got some blue beachy glass and some sandy browns and khakis. Anyway, it seems to be like a real chill fiber color, and I dig it. I totally dig it. It's something like 550 yards. So it's like, and it's 8 ounces, did I say that? So it's like a worsted, maybe a DK. Okay, it's more like a DK. Just a 2-ply. Just nice and squishy. I don't know what it's going to be. I dig it. You may hear something else in the background because I do. It's my daughter's iPad alarm going off for some unknown reason. I don't know what it's going off for, but you know. So, spinning, I am also then almost done. I did some hobbledehoy batlings. So this is 4 ounces of hobbledehoy batlings, and they're all these like fun yellows and limey greens and stuff like that. And then I'm pairing them with, this is the tail end of one of my Into the World bats I bought at Rhinebeck a few years ago. I can't remember if this is, I think this is the Rhinebeck colorway. So just got like this much left, and then I'm going to apply them together. It's going to be beautiful. Wow. It's going to be great. So I'm super excited about that, okay? Almost done. Okay, then knitting wise, oh, so you're like, where's all the stuff you bought? Who's your hells? Well, I did get some free yarn. So that was like a tote bag full, and it's, I'm not gonna lie, I was the worst. I was the first person to attack the free box, and there was full on some Wollmeise in there, and I stole it. I pretended to Joanne that I had justification for it, but I think she saw through me. She probably knew. Oh well. Here's my family coming in. I'll just keep going. So, but the other thing I did purchase, I bought some CVM, but I'll show that to you next, maybe when I'm working on it. it's okay. I'm still recording, but it's okay. I did, oh, you're gonna come through? Okay. I did buy some Shepherd's Wool. I'd never used Shepherd's Wool before. In fact, I'd never touched it, and I'd heard so many great things about it. And of course, I don't have the tags with me. But one of the vendors there had a truck, a yarn truck. It had a chandelier in it, people. It was fancy. I feel like I should support them in the fanciness. So I bought this. These are both worsted weight Shepherd's Wool. I'll try to remember to put the colorways in the show notes. If one of you dogs hits this tripod, that would be bad. But so I cast these on, and I am making the Downriver Cowl by Paper Moon Knits. That's not the best picture. Maybe this one's slightly better. So it's a worsted weight 2-color cowl with some texture and some lace. And I felt like I needed to kind of work on something at a bigger gauge than my fingering weight projects. And I think that was a good decision because it's helped me kind of get momentum on my fingering weight projects. That also had just a little bit of something going on beyond just stockinette or garter stitch. So, yay. So here it is so far. I am knitting it on US 8s. What? I never use needles that big. It's crazy. But so yeah, I'm really enjoying this Shepherd's Wool, excuse me. It's super, super soft. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm not knitting it at like a sweater gauge, so it's hard to know how it would wear, but I've heard great things about it. But yeah, it's super cute. And I'm enjoying it. It's just like a little bit done, but it's just a nice little diversion from my fingering weight projects, which I have been working on. And so fingering weight projects wise, I am at a pause. Where's my... I'm at a pause on my... Is it Emily? I don't have the knitting. Whatever. It's in the show notes. I think it's Emily. That's not right. That's another sweater I've made in the past. So I have my sleeves done. Shut up. The body's done. Double shut up. The button band is on hold because the pattern called for 1/2-inch buttons, which I did purchase via the internets. And then they came in and they looked like the tiniest doll buttons in the universe. I got these like cool vintage glass ones and they're beautiful, but they're so tiny that I'm afraid if I put them on my body, people are gonna be like, what does your sweater have zits? Do you know what I mean? They're that small. So I went ahead and ordered some 3/4-inch buttons. I don't know, for some reason, like they look super cute on the model, but she's much narrower. So maybe when you like, you know, gauge up a pattern, you have to like gauge up the buttons too. I should know better. But anyway, so I'm on hold with that, but hopefully next time. Eek. And then the last thing I have to show you is my Color Affection. Color Affection. We're totally gonna get through it on this SD card, people. We're gonna do it. So, here is my, just go. I'm in the middle of a row. I'm a bad podcaster. Shut up. But I'm so close. Okay, so here is, I'll show you how close I am. So as you're basically consuming these stitches as you're going on the Color Affection. So you have to consume all these stitches. Well, I only have, see there's my stitch marker. I only have like that many left to consume. And then I'm done with the stripy parts. And I can just do the yellow band, which I'm very excited about. So I apologize, it's not the easiest to show you right now. But maybe you'll get an idea. So it's the pink is Hazel Knits. And I'll put the colorways in the show notes. The multicolor speckly goodness is from a homespun house. The Hazelnuts is Land of Sweets. The homespun house is Puddle Jumper. And then this is some Madeline Tosh Daffodil for the gold. So I think it's going to be very lovely. I'm very excited about it. Okay. Oh, there's shameless self-promotion. Okay, shameless self-promotion really quickly. There's going to be a shop update not this Friday, so it'll be next Friday, and I apologize now I can't remember what that is. Okay, so this Friday, see that was the 10th, so that'll be the 17th, so it's the 24th, I think, the Friday the 24th. Totally, wow. What? Are you kidding me? Tulip pink bags, people. Do you see this? Regal as all get out bear. He's so regal. There's a hedgehog. There's a raccoon. Trash panda. There's a squirrel. There's so much goodness. There's a rabbit. There's a bird. If you're like, I don't like green. Huh, got you covered. I got some pinky sherbet. Shut up. Also, so those are sock size. In a sock plus bag, I have some super awesome bees that you can also get hexie style in a small wedge. What? It's like a hexie quilt bee competition. It's so exciting. Tulip Pink's got some more for you. It's true. What? She's got some rabbits. Are you kidding me? So these are large wedge. So even though I call this small wedge, people, it's literally just 2 inches narrower than large wedge. It's the same bag. I should just call it medium wedge, but whatever. So there's that one. So there's a green colorway and a blue colorway. And then you were like, I don't know about these animals. They live on the ground. I got some under the water creatures too. What? You were like, I need alien octopuses in my life. And I was like, here you go. They're in a flower garden under the sea. I'm not even kidding you, right there. There they are. Honey, it's okay. He's trying to quiet the dogs, so they're being aggressive. Look at that. Shazam. So that's the 24th at 9 p.m. Anyway, I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk next time. Bye.